Ethan.
Yes, Eli.
The Substance.
This is big.
It got a Best Picture nomination.
This is huge.
Who can name every horror movie that has been nominated for Best Picture? Go.
Silence of the Lambs.
Amelia Perez.
Yes, Silence of the Lambs. What else?
The Exorcist.
Yes.
Psycho?
What else?
Jaws. Jaws does not count.
Not Psycho. What a good question. I am counting Jaws because it is a monster movie.
Okay, Jaws.
But that is controversial. That is a controversial one. Did you just Google it and are reading what Google says? Okay, good.
Shape of Water.
Yeah, Shape of Water. If you want to count that as a horror, I do not. I count that as fantasy, but that's fine.
Get Out.
Yes, Get Out.
Oh yeah, Get Out. Should Have Been Us.
This Is Us. Is that what you're saying? The movie. All right.
Yeah.
It ends with us. It should have been. It ends with us.
I can't think of any others. What are the others that I'm missing?
There's a big one by a director who made a horror movie this year, but this was his big breakout horror movie that is arguably the best out of all of the movies we said other than The Exorcist and Jaws. And Get Out.
A director who made a movie this year.
Yes, that I fucking loved and you said was one of the worst movies of the year.
That you loved and I said was one of the worst movies, and it's a horror movie?
Yes.
Sicario?
What? How did you get there? How did your brain work there? What
movie?
What was the Rube Goldberg device in your head that got you?
I thought that you were talking about Dune 2.
Sicario.
Dude, Sicario is very scary.
The Sixth Sense, you dummy.
Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
I just watched it this year. It was really good.
And there's one more horror movie from a controversial director who has a new movie coming out this year.
Passion of the Christ.
That's correct. No, The Black Swan.
Oh, Black Swan. Oh,
Black
of course.
Swan. Yeah.
Those are good movies. It's a
and
good
there's
list.
one more. And there's one more. And it's a small movie called The Substance, which got a Best Picture nomination. We did it, Ethan. We did it. We championed this from day one.
I think that the reason we didn't release many episodes this fall is we were really letting our opinions simmer and like really just seep into the minds of voters who all listen to this show.
Yeah, we were busy tweeting and Instagramming. The bad thing is I tagged all of my posts with #Democrats, so you can't see any of my posts anymore. But I did it. I did my job.
I'm excited for both of you.
All right, so the Oscars came out, the nominations came out today. There are a million podcasts right now giving their takes. You can go online and read a million takes. But real quick, Caroline, what are your takes?
I'm bummed for the movies I was excited for. Sing Sing should have been nominated for Best Picture. No challengers is crazy. No Nickel Boys in cinematography. But there are things I'm excited for. Like I'm excited for Anora. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Ethan.
I just cannot believe that Denis Villeneuve didn't get nominated for Best Director.
Crazy.
I just think that that's like unbelievable. He didn't get nominated for Dune 1 either. Also kind of unbelievable. And I didn't even like that.
That is interesting because that got so many below the line nominations and won so many last time Dune 1. That's wild that he didn't get a director nomination. I didn't realize that.
And I know the two I'd swap out for him and Ramel Ross, Nickel Boys, who also should be nominated.
Who would you swap out?
I would swap out Jacques and James. J&J.
Good. Thank you for leaving Carly alone, because you know that Ethan and I would have just quit the podcast altogether.
It's the only woman
we are
nominated.
Caroline.
Because we're feminists, Caroline.
Yeah.
Now sit back and let us explain the substance to you.
Well,
Here we go.
Eli, let your man bun down and talk about the substance.
Well, the week that we revoked the Equal Opportunity Act, I'm thrilled to no longer have a voice on the podcast.
I will have you know we are all female now legally. I don't know if you read that. But that is an actual thing that has happened. Okay. My hot takes. I have a couple. Well, not too hot because I don't think there's a single big surprise here, other than a couple that I want to talk about. I don't like the word snub, because that assumes that there's malicious intent, and also that it assumes that my take is better than other people's take, which is absolutely not the case. Um, I am surprised the piano lesson got absolutely nothing. Not that I think that movie did anything, but I thought there's a world where Daniel Deadweiler gets in. Um, Hard Truths got absolutely nothing, and that really bums me out. Um, I will tell you, there are a couple times where I yelled out loud, "Woot!" like I am a 13-year-old coder. Uh, One of those was Best Documentary. My tiny little soundtrack to a coup d'etat got into Best Documentary. Very few people predicted that, and that made me very happy because that is an underseen movie that I pitched during last week's show. I screamed angrily when Challengers got nothing. Did they get nothing? Is Challengers
Nothing.
completely out?
Completely out.
Nada.
Wow. They
It's
deserved Best
stupid.
By the
Soundtrack.
way, nothing for queer either.
It's just
Like Luca fully, but like Daniel
yeah.
Craig was on all the short lists. Like, just no year of no Luca.
The year of no Luca. What a weird year. He'll be back. Um, I got very excited that um Flow got into both animated, which was obvious, but also got into international film. I think Flow is an absolute masterpiece. Uh, Girl with the Needle is kind of a horror movie too, by the way, and that got some love. Uh, I'm Still Here not only got
I
international feature
know.
film, it also got Best Picture, and Best leading actress in a leading role. That's
Is that
really cool.
happening? Is that happening? Like, could she win the Oscar?
She
I
could
think
win the
so.
Oscar, but
She had a
there's going to
great
be a huge
speech.
campaign. There's going to be a huge Demi Moore campaign because Demi Moore had a better speech.
I think both had good speeches, and also she has the legacy of her mom having been nominated in this category too, and it's the second nomination for Brazil, I think, in the history of the Oscars. So, I don't know, it'll be interesting. I had to go see it now.
Yeah, I do see it.
I need to see it too. It's the one I haven't seen out of pretty much all of these, and it that drives me crazy. By the way, I've seen 211 movies, and I didn't even see all the best pictures yet.
You
There's nothing that
stupid
drives me. I
bitch.
I
know.
know.
I failed. I failed. I failed. I failed. I quit. I failed. Yeah, mostly other nominations, not too surprising. I'm actually surprised that James Mangold got into Best Director. I was gonna say, the second they said James Mangold, I out loud yelled, "Oh," because I thought that meant Carly would be out for The Substance. But no, it meant Edward Berger's out for Conclave, which shocked me because a lot of people had Conclave as being the sleeper Best Picture winner.
If this is the year where we still don't know who's going to win Best Picture, and Conclave was sort of like maybe that sneak, I think that A Complete Unknown has jumped into the top four. And like with the Mayhold nomination, it's Monica Barbaro got nominated. It just got nominated for it got a lot of below the line nominations. I mean, I it I don't know if I would say, like, it's a front runner or at all. By the way, I don't even know what a front runner is this year, but that is very possible. If you start thinking about vote splitting and the amount of people that seem to really like, a lot of older voters are gonna obviously like that movie, like, A Complete Unknown's in play for real.
It really is.
It's interesting because I feel like at least, I don't know, 4 scenes from A Complete Unknown were lifted directly from Walk the Line, including the fact that they sing "It Ain't Me, Babe" in both movies. Uh, I don't know. I would be really upset if he wins, but I foresee James Mangold winning Best Director. I feel like we're in for another 7-minute speech from Brady Corbett that I'm gonna actively roll my eyes so far out of my head. It's gonna be like Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. But, yeah, it's interesting that he got the nom.
I think Brady wins. I think there's some legacy there with talking about legacy nominations. I mean, James Mangold's been doing this a long time. This is, you know why James got the nomination? It's because Deadpool and Wolverine reminded us how good Logan is, and so they went back and nominated him for Logan. That's what happened this year.
I don't know. I don't know if the movie is that good, but it was well directed. Like, I just,
Yeah.
my problems would almost be more on the screenplay side. But I think
Yeah.
Timmy's gonna win. I I could see actually this being one of those years where you could see like Brady Corbet. Is it Corbet or Corbett? Corbett.
I think it's Corbett.
Can you hear me? Corbett.
It's
Uh,
it's
I could see.
carpet.
I
Carpet.
could see Brady. I could see Brady Carpet winning for director and something else winning for picture.
Yeah.
Yes. I actually see that too now.
Which
Um,
is annoying.
so Wicked got 10 nominations, not surprising. The Brutalist got 10 nominations, not surprising. Um, I'll talk about the elephant in the room in a second. But what interests me is A24 got 14 nominations today. So even though we can argue that Sing Sing should have been on that list and What Are You Doing, A24, they still got a lot of nominations. I think what's cool is A24 got 14 nominations, Universal got 13, Focus Features got 12, Searchlight got 10, Neon got 7. Pretty cool. My Little Movie, our friends Movie, they got 6 nominations. They got more nominations than Warner Brothers or Paramount or Sony Pictures Classics. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Go Movie.
Yeah.
The little engine that could. Our little
Yeah.
movies.
I will say though, even with like all of that and the elephant in the room we're about to discuss, it does feel very Oscar so white, I will say. I think kind of across the board. And I think that's what's a bummer for me because I think there are so many movies that I think we could easily swap out that I think that were much more revolutionary in the way that they were making films and like what they were tackling versus some of these that are like, yeah, we're gonna see them on a plane in like 2 years from now, but we're not still gonna be thinking about them. But that's always the issue with the Oscars. Like stuff like this happens every year.
I don't know how you fix the Oscars because they expanded it, but they still are. It feels like ignoring incredible performances from people of color.
Well, I mean, it's that like that Variety article that came out this week where they said so many of the voters said they didn't finish The Brutalist or they're not watching most of the movies. So they're just voting for the stuff that their friends put out. So that's like they're not watching the movies. So and that's how do you fix that issue if the voters aren't even watching the movies?
Well, to me, the two best performances I saw this year was Hard Truths, and Clarence Macklin and Sing Sing. And you know what? I'm gonna throw in Natasha Lyonne in
His three
His Three
daughter.
Daughters.
Yeah.
Uh, None of them got nominations, and like I said, it's not a snub because other people's tastes are different than mine. Just it's a bummer. Having said that, there's a lot of nominations here that really excite me. Jeremy Strong going up against Kieran Culkin again. Love it. I love to see that. I want this to be I want them to be up against each other in a Grammy next year, just to see them up against each other because they are the complete opposite of humans. Uh, I loved seeing Sebastian Stan get a nomination. I argue it's for the wrong movie, but he is
Agreed.
very good in The Apprentice.
Agreed.
I like The Apprentice way more than I thought I would. Uh, I think Timmy wins Best Actor, but we're recording this on Thursday. He's hosting SNL on Saturday. If he performs with Bob Dylan, I think he wins the Oscar. That's what I'm gonna say.
Bob's got to be there, right? Bob's just like got to be there.
I also expect I would love it if Monica is there for one of the performances too. Really
Yeah.
just hammer it home. Uh, I love uh, uh, armchair quarterbacking SNL sometimes. It's really fun.
I was looking at best picture winning movies of this century so far. And something that, kind of Caroline, to your point, it certainly it would be great if people watched more movies, right? And I think that the reason that it'd be great is because we've actually had a really interesting sort of like diverse grouping of best picture winners the last like 10 or so years. Just some like really strange things. And if you get a movie into that best picture nomination slot, like suddenly a lot of people are going to see it and a lot of voters are going to get to see it. I mean, Moonlight doesn't, Moonlight is a strange standout movie that like should not have won best picture because it's small and it was a first time director, but like it was clearly the best movie of that year. So like I agree. I don't think that they should do any kind of like we must have X black directors or X women in the category, but like people just need to be inspired to see more movies. Maybe you have to take a test.
So
should we create a test that you have to do in order to fill in your ballot?
question number 1, did you like the substance? Yes or no? And if it's yes, then they get to vote on the substance.
That's
The
right.
substance has to win. It's not going to, but that's the one thing that will make me explode into
I
a
mean,
pile of confetti.
I think with what we have nominated, I think I'm like team Anora. I like Anora is like I'm so thrilled with how many nominations it got. Anora, and I'm a Conclave. You know what? I love I'm Conclave Hive. I love the daddies and Isabella. Even though it's like people are mad that it's like a 7-minute, but it's like a true supporting performance. Like Viola was nominated for 12 minutes in Doubt. And because that's what I think is what we've been discussing with like supporting actress. It's like with Zoe and Ariana, even though I'm like rooting hard for Ariana to win Best Supporting Actress. They are leads in those movies. So it's a little bit of category fraud, but I don't know. It's interesting.
There is not a world where Zoe Saldana doesn't win. And speaking of which, let's talk about the elephant in the room. You mentioned Moonlight. Moonlight didn't win that year because it was the best movie. It was the best movie of the year, but it didn't win because it was the best movie. It won because people were pissed off and didn't want the joy of La La Land. They wanted to
Sure.
to point the middle finger at the president and vote for a movie that didn't equal his values. This year, the president started off his term by taking away rights of people of different genders, trans people, and Mexicans. So all that to say, Amelia Perez got 13 nominations today. I don't know. I don't know what to make of
You don't
Amelia
even have to
Perez.
make it
I
political.
don't
You
know.
don't have to
I
make
don't
it
get it.
political. You don't.
I didn't.
You can just say it sucks.
I
Like
think
it
it
can
is
just be
political.
bad.
No, it does. It sucks. It's a bad movie. It got 13 nominations because it is political.
It is
That's why it's getting nominations.
It's one nomination away from being tied for the most nominations for the Oscars in the history. Can you name the 3 movies that were nominated for 14?
Ooh.
Lord of the Rings,
Nope.
Fellowship,
Uh,
Godfather,
Nope.
Green Book.
Silence of the Lambs.
Think one is in the one we is in the conversation with Moonlight that we just discussed.
La La Land.
In the conversation.
Yeah, La La Land was nominated for 14.
Wow.
Hey.
Two more. One is in the 90s. Big movie you're forgetting.
Titanic.
And then the other one was in 1950. All About Eve.
Of course.
Oh yeah, that movie rules.
Mm-hmm. But think those 3. I mean, La La Land, but like putting Amelia Perez like 13. It's just I don't know. It's like putting that with those movies is kind of crazy.
I don't know.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. Neither of you liked Amelia. Here's a question. Do either of you know anybody who liked Amelia Perez? And let me say, I don't think it's this year's Green Book, because my problem with Green Book, other than the message, is it's like the most cut and dry movie ever made. Amelia Perez is interesting. It is a musical. It is shot cool. I did not like the movie. I do think Zoe Saldana is incredible in it. But there were very incredible personal movies this year, where you like People's Joker, I Saw the TV Glove. Very personal stories. This is not a personal story. This is a very zoomed out, almost cliched story that I think I didn't like because it didn't get to the heart of anything. I don't know. I'm so torn up on that movie, and then it just becomes a soap opera with a shootout ending. I don't know. I don't get it. If it wins Best Picture, it's the movie. There's 2 movies I'm actively rooting against. Amelia Perez, and I'm actually rooting against The Brutalist, even though I do like the movie. I just think that there are more interesting movies that could win this year.
Yeah. I don't know that the only time I've seen anyone say they've liked it is in like a Reddit thread. And I don't know
I want to see that Reddit thread. I haven't seen a single Reddit thread that likes this movie. Everything I read is like, I'm confused. Hey, I'm
I
Mexican
know.
and this is a lot of cliches. I'm Mexican and this has nothing to do with our culture. I am trans and this has nothing to do with what we believe. Like those are the stories I keep reading and I don't know. I don't know what to say. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe the controversy is the point.
I need to watch it. I don't really want to, but I have to.
I know. I mean, I think it's just, like, a bummer, like we said, the fact it's, like, the story is directed by a white cis ma I think it's just, like, I would respect it a lot more. I mean, it's huge that we have our first, like, openly trans person getting an Oscar acting nomination. That is huge, historic. I'm thrilled for Carla Sofia. I just wish it wasn't for this movie. I just everything about it, it feels like they put it into ChatGPT, and this was the script that came out. And we wasted a lot of water on that script. And I don't know that it's I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what then this means for the next trans stories we're telling beyond this. Like, I don't know. I'm conflicted by it.
Unless this leads to more open dialogue and stories, then I'll support this. Because if it's like a baby step thing where like People's Joker, half of the people who saw that aren't gonna get it. I saw the TV Glow. Most of the people who saw that didn't get it, other than like people who love movies and film critics. If Amelia Perez is like the way in for some people, great. I support that. I just don't think it's an entertaining, well filmed. It got a cinematography nomination, which I don't understand.
Crazy.
I bad. I don't like the acting. I think the acting's bad. I think Selena Gomez is god awful in the movie. I don't know. I
The
don't
the
know.
the song it got nominated for 2 Best Original Songs, and neither one was the penis into vagina, vagina into penis song.
Yeah, I like that scene.
I know.
That's a good point that, I think the most obvious example is a movie like Philadelphia. Not directed by anybody who identifies as gay or homosexual, or acted or directed, but like that movie changed hearts and minds and certainly like changed the way that Hollywood approaches gay and queer stories and stories about AIDS. And you know what? Like, even though there's some like problematic stuff maybe about that movie today, that movie still rocks. Like, it is so good and it is so well acted. And I think that the thing that I just keep hearing from people is like, yes to all of the representation or the not representation, but the movie sucks. And like at the end of the day, like we're here to celebrate good movies. And there's a lot of good movies on this list,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of good movies that didn't make this list. So why are we celebrating a movie that ain't that good? That has songs that aren't that good, that has characters that aren't that believable. Like, yes, I know the context of Trump and this and that, but like if the movie's not good, the movie's not good. Sean Baker is not a sex worker, but he has made some outstanding films about sex workers. Like, I don't know, like, representation is important, but it just seems like a director who was not careful with his story and with his characters.
Yeah, I don't need every movie to open my eyes. I don't need every movie to be a personal, hey, this is my life. I sometimes I just want to eat popcorn and watch the substance. But to Ethan's point, Amelia Perez is a boring is a bad movie. Sorry. I didn't hate it. I did not hate it. It didn't make my top 25. It certainly did not make my it's gonna win 13 Oscars predictions. It's just I'm baffled. I'm
I got a
baffled.
meeting. I got a
And I think
meeting.
the
I
X
gotta go.
Factor. Oh, so do I. So do I.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Oscars, let us vote. Oscars, let us vote and nominate.
Let
Let
us
us
vote.
vote.
And as always, Diane Warren got another Oscar nomination. She did it. She
She
did
did
it
it.
again. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.